Good morning and welcome to my left ear. We're at this odd angle because many of you liked seeing Petey last week. And so I just invited Petey onto the desk with me. It's not the most convenient spot, but there he is. He had his breakfast. And we'll see if he stays up here with me. But I know you like him. And it's raining out today. All right, so to business. I hope I have this angled properly. To business. Welcome to my left ear. I am Carrie Freeman with Petey. This is video 135, and if you haven't been here before, this is a liberal YouTube channel for political and psychic commentary. A little philosophy, I do the runes, we talk. Now, I had some great good fortune and good evidence is what I call it. New people won't necessarily resonate immediately with good evidence, but good evidence is a book I wrote on Kindle, and a new one is coming out in paperback. But just to shorten this, good evidence is anything that happens or anything you do that lights you up, that makes a contribution or seems like, wow, the good luck fairy was there. So I did have that last week. I had more viewers than I've ever had before in 2 years. 10,000 viewers. What? And I thought, is it because Petey was in the picture? I don't know. At any rate, it's good evidence. Now you know. So if you are one of those people, I don't think he's going to stay. Oh, you can see him. He's exploring. Please subscribe. Please like. That's how it grows. Okay. When I'm not doing Patreon, which I also have a Patreon where I'm teaching runes, and I'll put all of that information in the, I'm sorry, I'm distracted by Pete and what he's doing. Oh, he's going to play with a pen. We're just going to let him do that. Forgot what I was saying. But I do Patreon. When I'm not here for so many new people, I want you to know I call myself a change agent because I do private coaching, psychic coaching, which there is, I think, a terrific video on it, video 34. And I do therapeutic hypnosis, and that is video 10. And if you want to reach me and get my cheat sheet of my charges and services, it's right there below in the description section at the top. So here we go. Now, I did hear from a viewer, subscriber, and who asked a question, and I understand the question because it's on my mind also. And I threw some runes, but I still think it's premature. I want you to know that. This will not be the only time I'm throwing runes on this issue. So I looked up the debt ceiling and when they are supposed to vote on it. And I'm just reading this, and I apologize. Someone was very complimentary last week, but they felt that I read too much and that my spirit and my heart didn't come through. But my spirit and my heart are the same. I just had a 40-minute show last week, and I had a lot of material to share. So I do look down, and I do look at my notes. And by the way, I write an outline before I do every show. So I do a lot of prep. All right, when will the debt ceiling be reached? Like, when will they vote on it? So this is all I found so far. The timing of hitting the debt ceiling is not known precisely, but current estimates suggest sometime in the second half of 2023, with the usage of extraordinary measures potentially pushing a hard deadline back closer to the end of the year. Well, I've noticed that no matter who's running Congress, that debt ceiling always comes to the wire. It comes down to the wire. But right now, the GOP is threatening many things regarding the debt ceiling and like the crash of our economy. And I'm not laughing at it. It's just so nightmarish what they're doing. So I threw some runes, and let's just see what they say. But I promise you, we're going to need to do this again. All right. And I don't always take requests from readers, but I could feel the anxiety, and I thought, you know, a lot of people are anxious about this. All right. So the question for the runes was, will the GOP raise the debt ceiling in late 23? And raising it would be a good thing. It means we wouldn't crash and burn, etc., etc. So the first rune I got, interesting, I got the rune Gateway in the reversed position. So that's like the negative side of it. So it does say there's a quickening of development, and that means extra energy on this. But I really don't think it's right now. I think that extra energy is coming after June. But the rune says, yet even in times of accelerated growth, you will have reason to halt. Yes, definitely. And reconsider the old. It's about integrating the new. And we don't know how the GOP nutwings could possibly integrate. They're in a revenge cycle, and they're in a cycle to protect themselves because so many of them were coup plotters. But it does say take advantage of these halts. If you are undergoing difficulties, which the Democrats are right now, the nature of your passage depends upon the quality of your attitude, the clarity of your intention. Well, the GOP's clarity of intention is to destroy and to get their own way. It's very toxic. It's very bad. If anybody's noticed, they do not talk about their constituents or policies or helping people. It's extraordinary. Wow. Okay. Hasty. No, as some of you know, my screen blows up on me sometimes, and then I have to fix it. So I'm fixing it. Sorry. To the Democrats, it says, make sure you're not suffering over your suffering. That doesn't really strike me as the Democrats or Hakeem Jeffries. Hasty decisions may cause regrets. That would be the GOP. Impulses must be tempered. That would be the GOP. And it says, do not go where you have not yet begun. I think that's one of the biggest messages there, because we haven't defaulted yet on this debt ceiling. We always kind of save the day. Now there may be some of you may be history majors and say, oh no, we did it once before. And if we did, let me know, but not in recent years. It says, and this is why I want to read on this again, be still, collect yourself, and wait on the will of heaven. There's a famous saying, it ain't over till it's over. Okay. And I want you to know, part of my job, I think, is to bring some good light, some good energy to this YouTube channel. And I do want you to know that I worry. But this wouldn't be very good if I got on here and I just worried with you. So my job is to bring reality, but some hope. And, the sort of positive angle. But I don't lie. So then the next rune I got, this is interesting. I got another rune in reverse, and it's the rune of constraint. Constraint. So this is also called Novice, and it's a rune of challenge to the self. To the self. And it says, we each have our own dark little places that we have closed and not allowed the benefit of fresh air and sunshine. Nothis shines a bright light into those rooms. So there may be a bright light coming. It represents an opportunity to dispense with that which binds us to our lesser self. So when this rune appears in your reading, you're going to be challenged, maybe even on an intimate level. And that could be more personal information comes out. It advises that you rethink your current plan. GOP, it advises that you rethink your current plan and look to yourself within. Okay, they don't have that ability. Most of them are sociopaths and narcissists, and that can be combined too. There can be a narcissistic sociopath, and I think many of them are. Rethink your current plan, you GOP. Nothis is the great teacher. And I would say to the Democrats, don't take this word personally. I don't think they are. Work with your shadow self and find out what in you is magnetizing misfortune. That's actually to the GOP. It's because they won't listen, they won't pay attention, and they're not thinking about people. They're thinking about greed and protecting themselves from being arrested, because there's a whole bunch of them that are coup plotters, coup helpers. There may be some holdups, but rectification comes before progress. So we're going to be looking for a come to Jesus moment, possibly down the road. All these runes I got about this death ceiling came in reverse, by the way. So it's, it's picking up on the negative. And the last one is the self. And it says, perhaps you're at a time when you need to reconsider your situation, you think. It is difficult to find one's place in the world. If you are blocked, this rune of the self urges you to begin by being clear with yourself. Now, this is a message that's come through this particular reading. Look to yourself. Look within. I don't think they're capable, but that's the message. And it says it doesn't matter what area of your life is in disarray. Consider. You will recognize the outer enemy as but a reflection of what you have not, until now, have been able to recognize that's coming from within you. Wow. So it does say breaking the momentum of past habits is challenging. In the life of spirit, we are always beginning, and those people need to start anew. But this is a very interesting reading, because it's really picking up this one about the debt ceiling, how everything was in reversed, and each rune said, look to yourself, look to yourself, look within. So we're going to come back to that. Just wanted to give you a little feedback. My left ear. I didn't write this down, but I'm just going to my left ear. What does my left ear really think? I think we're going to be okay with the debt ceiling. I think there are going to be many actions, non-actions, removals, arrests that are going to kind of come together. So this is what I feel right now, so I'm just sharing it with you. Now I asked the runes, will the Biden documents that were found bootstrap Jack Smith's proceedings, inquiries, investigation, indictments? So the first rune I got was the rune of disruption, which is a little bit like the tower. And it's one of the challenging rules, but this should not be surprising with this mess that's going on. My Zoom did it to me again. It's just being active. But here's the thing, something good can come out of this, because change, freedom, invention, and liberation are all attributes of this rune. Now, what does that speak to you? That speaks of there is this disruption right now, but if you've done any reading or listening or watching, there's like a Grand Canyon between what Donald Trump did with documents and what has happened with Biden. A Grand Canyon. But Merrick Garland, who I'm very disappointed in, ultimately, is having investigated. He's having it investigated by some Trump-appointed person because he thinks that'll look great and that'll make the GOP happy. Nothing's going to make the GOP happy. I am now arriving at Merrick Garland is doing a half job, and he operates from fear, and I'm very disappointed. So it indicates a pressing need. Oh, I tell you what, this is a touchy morning with my page blowing up, sorry. It indicates a pressing need within the psyche to break free from constricting identification with the material world. So, that's about outcomes. It's hard not to worry about outcomes, right? The events will seem to be out of your control. This rune, right now they do seem to be. The rune always operates through reversal and challenge. So the Biden administration is going through challenge right now. It's called the Great Awakener. And listen, you know what? Maybe it's happening for a reason. Some of you know about the author who just ripped me off. There's so many new people that you probably don't know that story, but it does say the video about three weeks ago is called Writer Beware Part 1, and you can hear about how this writer ripped me off. But when I got over my hysteria, I thought, this is happening for a reason, because if a client came to me and told me this story, that would be immediately what I would say to a client. This is happening for a reason. So I believe this, Biden and his people finding the documents, reporting it immediately, and doing all the right things is happening for a reason. There could be this positive outcome. Some people feel that this would be like a good opportunity for Jumpin' Jack Flash, because he can point out the gross differences in both situations. The Great Awakener, the awakening takes various forms. This rune represents the jolt that brings one to inner truth. So that jolt might be for a reason. That's something that is coming through to me. And it says disruption can be created in positive ways. Sometimes we have to become rutted and need a good push to get out of the rut. So I think this may enliven the Biden administration, so there you go. Then we got defense, which is avertive powers. We're still dealing with Biden and the White House. As we are tested, we fund the power to avert blockage and defeat. That even if there appears to be an obstacle in your path, consider that even a delay may prove beneficial. Do not be overly eager to press forward. Patience is the counsel. No acting needy. So what I want to say to you, this might be delayed. However, the whole documents issue and that indictment may be delayed. It looks like it's going to be delayed. However, it's saying, be patient. Be patient. This could be a good thing. And just so you know, there's so many charges that are up against Donald J. Trump, that this is not the only opportunity to get him in jail. I believe, and I think I mentioned it in my tidbits section below, that Fani Willis is probably going to make history in Georgia. I think she's the one who's closest to making this announcement. And that is a good case, the Fani Willis case, the obstruction of justice. So it says prepare for the future, prepare the soil for the fertile seeds of the future. And it does say, and this is so hopeful, through inconvenience and discomfort, growth is promoted. I like that. My left ear likes that. And then we have breakthrough. Breakthrough. So what I want to say is, this is the sun that breaks through the final barriers, illuminating the true inner self. It speaks of positivity and prosperity. Something that held you back is no longer holding you back, and you can go forward. That tells me everything I need to know. Joe Biden, our president, and his staff are going to go through some things, some inconvenience. It's going to delay this part of Jumpin' Jack Flash's investigation, and not investigation necessarily, but indictments. And so let's be patient. It is not the only way to call Donald Trump into accountability. So I think this is the last rune I did. I did only 3 today, I think. Yeah, I did 3. So this is the last rune that I pulled, and I asked, will the Democrats succeed in removing Speaker McCarthy? And the first rune I got was strength, upright, strong position. It represents the wild ox, an animal known for its recalcitrance until trained, and its massive strength when put to good use. So that's a good way to start out. I go, yeah, they are. And when it's upright, like it is, one can count on sufficient strength to carry out all that is proposed. Good news, people. We don't know who we'll get in replacement of McCarthy, because they're all disgusting sociopaths. But here's the question, because he's drunk with power. Actually, they're all drunk with power. Drunk with power. Mercury is still retrograde, which I found out yesterday, and thank you, people, for giving me the correct date, which is the 18th. So my screen blowing up every 2 minutes feels like Mercury retrograde. Now, it says there's something you must sacrifice in order to move forward. I'm not sure what kind of compromise that would be on the part of the Democrats, but it's very positive about, they're gonna remove him. And I read, and I don't think I have it in this reading, that there are plans to flood the GOP with objections, proposals. I mean, flood them, which is great. So the Democrats are really thinking, planning. They're smart people. They're smarter than the GOP. So it does say learning and growth may be painful, but adversity can be a great instructor. And that could be like just a big brawl. And so this rune encourages, let go and embrace the darkness and sacrifice some of your control. I can't think of what the compromise would be, or that's not coming yet. That's all I want you to know. But it does say allow the energies to flow. But here's the thing, the last rune in this question about getting rid of McCarthy is the rune of joy, upright, and joy is light. It is the fruit-bearing branch. It speaks of happiness, of things finally coming together. It speaks of the culmination of a phase of learning and growth. You can be assured of a positive result, and it will bring joy. So there will be this sort of, if you ever saw The Wizard of Oz, which almost everybody has in their lifetime, ding dong, the witch is dead. But ding dong, the calf is dead. That's kind of what it feels like. And fertility, akin to the moon, adjusting in the sphere of personal relationships. So it's a rune of great power. It also signals an emergence from a closed state. And in a way, right now, the Democrats are in like a closed state. They're really being, controlled and blocked and all that kind of stuff. But this says it's emergence. So something good's going to happen. And, I had said to you a while ago, or maybe recently, I don't remember, that I think there's the branch that Jumpin' Jack Flash is in charge of, and now he has incredible team he's picked. 2 more attorneys that are experts in financial fraud, political money, mafia trials. Really incredible team. So it's good. It's the last part of this last rune. It says, await your deliverance with calm certainty. My friends, that's very positive. Now I did, I started this thing called Tidbits. And tidbits are really, my left ear hits and something I call Opinions Unlimited that I started with a good friend of mine many years ago. Opinions Unlimited are just my opinions. We thought that was pretty clever a long time ago before the internet. All right, so my left ear. Were any of the Biden docs planted? So this was the first thing that popped into my left ear. And I'm not going to tell you I'm certain. But the timing of this is really wonky, as they say. So I want to say there's a possibility. It's a little too soon. Now, the thing is, there were things in his garage. More to come. I'll tell you one thing, though, and I don't have it written down here. I mean, I think when the Democrats can, because the GOP isn't going to do this, there needs to be some new policy with these kinds of documents, and the archives need to come up with more of a tracking. There's something wrong, and in no way do I think Joe Biden, in no way do I think Joe Biden was being tricky or dishonest, but they shouldn't have been there. So there might have been an assistant, an aide who is responsible. Certainly Vice President isn't, tracking, but there needs to be a system in place. I'm not wrong about that, okay? And then here's Opinions Unlimited, but I stated it early that Merrick Garland was Joe Biden's biggest mistake. And it's not because he's dishonest. First of all, he's with the Federalist Society. And I don't think anybody from the Federalist Society should have been made AG. Because I think in the background noise of Merrick Garland's shoulder is the Federalist Society whispering at him. And, he may be a bit of a codependent and he's afraid of disappointing people. Unfortunately, he looks meek, unfortunately. Had there been, I can think of 4 or 5 powerful attorneys that could have gone into the AG position, and we would not have a Republican Congress right now if that had happened. So I am laying the pokiness at the feet of Merrick Garland, and that's my opinion. Jack's team, I think I just told you this. There's a guy who's a specialist in financial fraud, mafia techniques, anything that looks like conspiracies, and they're throwing a wide net, which makes for a better outcome. Covers a lot of things. And then many subpoenas have gone out, and they're looking at Giuliani and others now. So watch for those characters to start coming in. So a few days ago, Hakeem Jeffries, the new and fabulous Speaker of the Democratic Party in Congress, he made a short speech. He has a wonderful way of speaking briefly and getting right to the point. He never overtalks. I have a lot of faith in Hakeem Jeffries and respect. He just said these simple words in that wonderful voice he has. GOP, clean up your house. He's dynamite. And then Donnie Deutsch, who's a branding billionaire, who's sometimes on MSNBC, he said something that I agree with, and I don't always agree with him. But he said there was a huge communication problem, and I agree with him, because most citizens, a lot of citizens, I don't want to say most, but a lot of citizens, they don't read, they don't examine, they don't watch MSNBC like maybe I do, maybe you do. So they're going to absorb Trump's disinformation and lies. And that's what Donnie Deutsch is talking about. And there really should be a branch of the Democratic Party that is looking at this right now to get ahead of it. My left ear. Do not expect George Santos to resign. He has too much narcissism and sociopathy. He's not. He's reached where he wants to be, and he's going to hold on to it for dear life. Crime will remove Santos. Now there's more proof coming in that he made like $700,000 on a Ponzi scheme. So lots of people are jumping on this. He will be gone at some point. I don't have a time frame. Within the year. My left ear just said within the year. I know that's not soon enough, but it could be sooner because it's within the year. And let me just make one comment that's kind of, catty? This isn't a gossip YouTube, but my goodness, how much cosmetic work has George Santos done? I mean, I live in Hollywood, so I walk out on the street and I see women and men with like huge fat cheeks. They're like 60 years old and they have these huge cheekbones and these huge lips. And I'm used to this, but I just want to say he's very vain. And here's another my left ear kitschy comment. I'm with a little kitschy comments today. Carrie DeSantis, Ron DeSantis' wife, the first time they came out together and he accepted that he won the governorship, she wore a gold lame gown that only belongs on the red carpet at the Oscars. And one of my Twitter friends and I went, what? What does she think she's attending? It was daytime. All right. This past week, the New York Times featured her in a baby blue dress with flowing panels, like flowing panels and white gloves. And I think she was told, my left ear said, when she was younger in college, because she's a very pretty woman, that she looked like Jackie O. And I think that's what's driving her. I'm sure of it. One last thing. E.Jean Carroll, who I read for years in, I think it was Mademoiselle magazine. She had a very popular column. She's very clever. She's a good writer. She's really a terrific human being. And she is the woman, and you know, she's like near my age or older than me, who many years ago, Trump said hello to her in a high-end store in New York, which I just can't think. It's a very high-end store. And he followed her around the store, and he was very charming, and he raped her in a dressing room. He raped her. She's so smart, she kept the dress, and it has a stain on it. And so she got like the best female attorney in New York, a woman with an amazing track record, because they want to get his DNA. So the first thing he did was deny it. I don't know her. That never happened. This is a hoax. She's not my type. Like, he would only rape somebody. Like, that's not how rapists work. They just rape. They get impulses. And so he went through a deposition. The judge this past week opened up a big portion of the deposition for everybody to see. And he says, awful, I mean, I'm sorry to report it, but I'm reporting because that's part of my job. Because this is so smarmy. In his depo, and by the way, when this goes to court, first of all, a judge said, yes, Mr. Trump must give a DNA sample. Well, of course, his people are trying to block it, but they won't succeed. So it's just timing here. They'll get the DNA sample. So he said in his deposition, well, first he says it's a lie, it's a hoax. Then he went to, she's not my type. And then this is the most horrible part of it. he said in the deposition, I mean, it's in print, she enjoyed it. He said more like that, about her enjoying it, and it's, I don't even have words for it, it's so horrible. So the judge, you know, said, yeah, turn over your DNA. And by the way, when that happens, there are people who stand by to make sure there's no cheating. Because you know Trump would take DNA from somebody else if he could. But no, they're right there controlling it. So I just want you to know that. He can't cheat on that. All right, so we're coming to the end finally. I went longer today. Really, you know, the good evidence is that it appears that the channel is growing. It makes me really happy. I want to thank you. And I had so much to share again today because there's so much going on. That's basically the one thing I want to comment on. And I will have more to share with you on good evidence. So the quotes. I have 3 quotes today. They're very short. I just liked all of them, so I threw them in here, and then we're going to bug out. Because God knows how long it will take YouTube to download this video, because it's 36 minutes long. Quote. It's by Reggie Mills, someone I'm following on Twitter, who always comes up with like one sentence that's very philosophical and positive. And I don't know him. He says, sometimes your heart needs more time to accept what your mind already knows. I think that's really true. Sometimes your heart needs more time to accept what your mind already knows. Reggie Mills. Then, this is by F. Scott Fitzgerald. He said, first you take a drink. Then the drink takes a drink. Then the drink takes you. And you know, I worked with alcohol dependents and alcoholics for 8 years at a rehab center, and I never saw this quote, and I'm telling you, it's really, really true. I'm going to save the 3rd quote because I want to research the gentleman so I don't sound stupid. So those are the 2 quotes. I just want to say, keep the faith. I have a new Patreon that'll be uploaded tomorrow. We're coming to the end of the runes. We're almost at 25. So I'll leave that information, and I'll see the Patreon people on Sunday. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about my plans for Patreon next My Left Ear. So thank you. Spread the word, and keep the faith. Keep the faith. These were good readings today. And I say bye-bye. Make peace. Make good memories. Bye-bye.